Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Nothing But Sports with Kent Sterling for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best dentist in the world. Call him. He's right here in central Indiana, 317-849-2933. He's been my dentist for the last 25 years. Tonight, Butler. Kind of once we get to December 1st, the college basketball season really sort of opens up. I know they just won the Hall of Fame Classic. They beat Missouri. They beat Stanford. But tonight they go to a true road game in Oxford, Mississippi against Ole Miss. All right, let's talk to LaVall Jordan. 7-0, ranked. Nice. What have you learned about your team?
That we've got, I think we've got good leadership in place. With our seniors, they're doing a great job, and we got a resilient group. They've got a lot of fight in them. As you saw down in Kansas City, I thought tough team, physical team in Missouri. In the Stanford game, back to back, where we didn't play at our best. We just had to grit out a victory and come up with some big plays and big shots. And so I think we got a resilient group.
How important is it to have kids as seniors who like McDermott? Injured but wants to play, wants to get back in, wants to tough it out. How important is it for the younger guys to see the older guys kind of set that example?
Yeah, I think it's it's what this program's been built on. Sean McDermott's he's an example of Butler, where if he can be out there and do anything for his teammates, he wants to do it. He's going to fight to do it. Maybe even fight the coach to get back out there and give it another try. And so, for like I said, our leadership is what we've learned thus far is our leaders are stepping up to lead, and that's an example there with Sean of I want to be out there helping my team, and for the young guys to see it is great because you can make excuses, you could not go just because you have a little boo-boo, but that's not what Sean did. That's not what these guys have been doing. So it's a good example for the others.
When you watch you guys and then you look at the numbers and you kind of reverse engineer it, you see that you guys do a great job of limiting turnovers and you do a really good job on the defensive end. That's where it kind of begins. That's the beginning, middle, and end for you guys, isn't it?
Yes, no question. They're connected. It's not football where offense and defense aren't as connected. So our defense starts with taking care of the basketball. It's hard to guard turnovers, and so we don't want teams running out and getting jailbreaks or turnovers for touchdowns. And so we spend a lot of time focusing on it. We emphasize it. Guys take a lot of pride in it. But yeah, it starts there with our defense, and then obviously if we can get great shots. Again, those allows you to get back in transition and get your defense set.
I may be out of my depth in making this assumption and asking you this question, but what this looks like so far to me this season is it's your team. It seemed like the last 2 years that you were figuring it out. This year, it seems like it's your team. I don't know whether that's looking at you guys and me seeing success and assuming that. Do you feel more comfortable this year with these guys?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. It's Butler. I think last year obviously was last year. I think this is Butler. I think our leadership, like I said, our seniors have taken a lot of things to heart and made it a mission to lead better. And we've challenged them to do it and gave them plenty of opportunities to do it, and that's what's happening. I think obviously with additions to the roster, Bryce Enzi's been a tremendous addition to our roster. K Battle, John Michael, Derek Smith, those guys coming in, and then you come to Butler because you have a chip on the shoulder, and then you want to get better. And I think some guys have made improvement. Christian David's made improvements. Bryce Golden has made significant improvements, and we're a developmental program. I think it's always been that, and so it's good to be where we are right now. But I think the fun thing about this group is they want to practice. And I think that's what the great groups want to do. They want to get better in practice.
How important is it to have a guy like Enzi or a guy like Sean who can guard multiple spots?
I think it's huge, especially in the way the game's played today. Is such speed of movement. There's a freedom of movement emphasis by officials, and so it takes a little bit of the physicality out with old school when I was playing, where you could maybe chuck cutters and things like that. So when you can switch and defend multiple positions with now how many ball screens and pick and roll and pace of offensive offenses. Like we played Wofford and Stanford, to I thought high-level offenses in terms of the pace of their movement and cutting. And you can switch and negate some of the speed without fouling them and putting them on the foul line. So it's a big deal. Christian David, Bryce Enzi, Sean McDermott, Jordan Tucker, those guys that can guard multiple positions.
That's a big deal, too, is determining tempo, isn't it?
Yeah, no question. And I think Aaron Thompson and Kamara, they've been phenomenal this year and just dictating our pace of play. We've played fast when there's been opportunities, but been under control when there haven't, so that we can execute. And I think a lot of that's on our guards. We put a lot of responsibility on them to dictate pace.
That's Butler head coach LaVall Jordan. The Butler Bulldogs, he mentioned it. What they got to do is take good care of the basketball and play solid defense. They are number 3 in the country in turnovers per game at just 9.4. You do that and you play good defense, you're going to win a lot of games. It's making mistakes that are going to hurt teams. So let's talk about Indiana. Speaking of mistakes, over the last 2 games, Indiana has turned the ball over 37 times. By the way, Butler playing at 7 o'clock tonight on the SEC network. Indiana following that at 9 o'clock against Florida State on ESPN2. Indiana has got to mitigate mistakes. If you mitigate mistakes and you play good defense, you're going to win a hell of a lot of basketball games. The Hoosiers, they have to continue to attack the rim, continue to rebound well, and who knows how well they can, because they've started out, let's face it, what this season has been so far as a parade of palookas. It's a Palooka-looza in November of 2019 for the Indiana Hoosiers. Archie Miller, what kind of a coach is he? I don't know. He hadn't made the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. It's only 2 years. This year, 7-0. But now you're going to play good teams. Florida State, they're ranked number 17. They are a really good defensive team. If Indiana gets this win at Simon Scott Assembly Hall tonight, they are going to earn it, and all of a sudden we can kind of tap the brakes on all the questions about Indiana basketball, and that would be for the best. I'm tired of sitting in judgment constantly of Indiana basketball year after year after year after year. Are they headed in the right direction? I, honest to God, don't know. They're doing the right thing and putting together the pieces, right? Recruiting the hell out of Indiana, which I think is a really, really good thing, and that's the only way you're going to succeed long-term as the head coach at Indiana. But this team, do they reflect the toughness that we thought that Archie Miller was going to bring to Indiana University basketball? Not yet, they don't. We're going to find out a little bit about that tonight. We'll learn more this weekend as the Hoosiers travel to Wisconsin for their first game outside of Monroe County in southern Indiana this entire season. We'll see how they play against the Badgers of Greg Gard. Let's talk about the Indiana Pacers for a minute. Pacers, nice win last night over the Memphis Grizzlies. How about this for balanced scoring? 19 points, that was the leading scorer. They scored 117 points, and their leading scorer had 19. And that was Brogdon. Then you had Sabonis with 18. You had a guy with 17. Then you had 2 guys with 15. You had another guy with 14. Justin Holiday, really, really nice night from beyond the arc. TJ Warren, really nice night from beyond the arc. It was drama-free, very, very quiet in Memphis last night for that game. It's really odd when you listen to an NBA game and you can hear individual voices in the crowd yelling things and laughing. It reminded me of when I was growing up and nobody went to games, or a lot of people didn't go to games. Now it's tens of thousands every night, 14,000, 16,000, 18,000, whatever. And you can't hear individual voices, but last night you could in Memphis. The Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, they got a huge game this weekend. They're 6-6. If they want to stay in the playoff hunt, they have to win this game, and they likely have to win the next 3. Getting in at 9-7, that's going to be a tough putt. Getting in at 10-6, I think they get in at 10-6. They were 6-6 last year in the same position. They found a way to win their last 4, but these two teams kind of headed in different directions. Right, because last year the Colts started 1-5, finished 10-6. This year they started 5-2. Right now they're 6-6, and that ain't good. They are not trending in the right direction at all. Jacoby Brissett, he spoke to the media today. Seems very relaxed, and doing the right thing at Christmas time, doing some charitable stuff. Jacoby Brissett, I have a lot of admiration for. He's a guy who the entire city of Indianapolis, this entire area, all Colts fans are scratching their heads and wondering if he's the long-term answer at quarterback for this team. I'll tell you one guy who isn't scratching his head, and that's Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby understands when he makes a mistake, but he also believes wholeheartedly that he is the right guy at the right time for this job. We'll see how the rest of the year transpires and what Chris Ballard chooses to do moving forward. But I would be absolutely stunned if they use their first-round pick or either of their 2 second-round picks on a quarterback. I really would be. I just don't see that happening. I think they're going to invest in Jacoby and hope that he continues to evolve into the kind of guy who's going to be mistake-free and allow other elements of this Colts team to win football games. I think that I don't know whether he is the answer, but I believe that Chris Ballard is going to come to the realization that he is. I think that that is going to be Chris Ballard's belief moving forward. They made a roster move today, did the Indianapolis Colts. They elevated wide receiver Chad Williams from the practice squad to the active roster. All right, talking to Chad Williams, got elevated from the practice squad today. How exciting is that for you?
It's really exciting. It's go time, you know. Been waiting for a long time, and time is finally here.
That wait, how difficult is that? Because, you know how it works. You can earn your way up, and you did earn your way up, but somebody's got to go down first. So it's kind of an awkward thing. You don't want to root for a guy to get hurt, but you want your shot.
Yeah, but at our level, we play at it's next man up mentality, and it's unfortunate to see guys go down, but. You know, watching those guys and knowing those guys personally, you know that they're warriors and they'll prevail from anything. And at the same time, in the same sense, it's kind of like next man up. You have to be up. You have to be ready. So you just step in, try to fill that void as best as you can.
What makes you special? What's that one thing that you do that's really, really good?
I'm the same guy all the time.
Are you?
I'm the same guy all the time. I give you 100% on this play, I'm going to give you all I got on the next play. That's who I am.
You got to be feeling really good about where you are from a health perspective and about playing against the Bucs. How excited are you going to be?
I'm a bit too excited, but I never get overly excited in a moment. I always try to lower myself down and lower to the training that I've been taught. Try not to get too high. I try to stay low and just focus on everything I've worked on in the week and train, and then I feel like that's the best way it'll just all come to you.
Were you that way in college? So it gets down to kind of nut-cutting time at the end of a game and you need a score. Were you the calm guy?
Yeah. So, like you said, when it's nut-cutting time at the end of the game and you need a score, it's kind of like everyone wants to be rowdy, be hoorah. I understand the emotions and everything will flourish, but you just can't get tied into that. You just have to lower to the level of your training and you'll be okay.
So if you score, you catch a touchdown pass, and it's a big touchdown pass, you catch it this weekend, are you just going to flip it to the official, or are you going to get rowdy and be a little excited?
I'll definitely celebrate with my comrades, but at the same time, in the same sense, we are focused on a goal, and that's winning.
That's Chad Williams, who you're going to see on the field this weekend down in Tampa for the Indianapolis Colts, because Hilton out, Rodgers out, Funchess out, Campbell, I don't know, and then Rodgers out. That is a lot of guys out for the Indianapolis Colts. So Williams, where's he come from? He was signed by the Colts to the practice squad on September 2nd. He was originally selected by the Arizona Cardinals in the third round, 98th overall in the 2017 draft. Williams competed in 16 games, 8 starts with the Cardinals, caught 20 passes for 202 yards and 1 touchdown. He was released prior to the regular season. Colts picked him up, so there you're going to see him on the field this coming Sunday, and hopefully he does good things. He seems like a really good dude. That is sports, nothing but sports. Full night of college basketball tonight. Tomorrow night, you got Purdue, you got the Pacers playing, all kinds of sports going on. This is a great time of year in Central Indiana for sports fans, and we'll tell you all about it tomorrow morning on Breakfast with Kent. Of course, that's on Facebook Live straight up at 8 in the morning. And then at about 8:15, we have the Periscope live version of Breakfast with Kent. It's a show so nice we do it twice, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Give them a call, 317-849-2933. Join me tomorrow morning.